Good evening, guys. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hope you're all well. So, a little bit of an impromptu, different live, I suppose. Not impromptu, it was scheduled, but it was scheduled with a couple of us. So, just to kind of fill you in, something cropped up very last minute. That was unavoidable. These things happen. So, you've got me to listen to for however long this goes on for this evening. No, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, we'll get a few people on and asking a few questions. So, if anyone is watching, if anyone could see the live, it'd be great to get a hello, a bonjour, whatever it is in your native tongue, just to say hello and say that you can see this. Oh, right. So we've got 5 people watching. Hello. Good evening, Andrew. Mr. Andrew Henry, a true gentleman. How are you keeping, Andy? Are you keeping well? So, yes, tonight we were going to kind of cover another person's kind of journey on Amazon. However, just something happened. So it was kind of just, well, I was quite aware that, yes, tomorrow, 1st of July, I've been banging on about it for about a month. It's like a really, really kind of big day. Yeah, it's kind of just a really big day for, well, the way I set things up in previous jobs. And, well, my previous jobs were all kind of business development. So everything kind of worked on monthly targets, quarterly targets, that type of thing. So 1st of July is like start of H2, so half 2, second half, end of Q2, start of Q3, all that type of stuff. So it was kind of, it's a really good time to reflect on the year that's gone and kind of what's coming up. So tomorrow morning we have, well, me and my team, we've got like a debrief, like a de-launch of the first half of the year, and then we're going to be setting targets and goals for the second half of the year, targets and goals for Q3, and then targets and goals for Q4. So that's part of it. We're also going to be doing a bit of work on vision and values. So start of the year, I set aside some vision and values for the business that it's quite important that people kind of align to. And we're going to be doing some work on that. And then the other aspect of what we're going to start to implement is, well, it's no great secret. There is a book called Traction by Gina Workman. So something that Luke has implemented at iGen, and it's very, very effective to make the most of your time. It's basically around getting systems in place and make the most of your time, make the most of meetings. Because I am conscious now there's 7 of us in a meeting. So if it takes 2 minutes, 3 minutes for everyone to kind of talk and get, that's the guts of half an hour gone. So yeah, we're going to be implementing some structures. We're going to have some bit of fun as well. So looking forward to that. It's going to be really interesting. And yeah, just kind of excited about how the first half of the year went. There's been a lot of challenges for everyone selling on Amazon. We've kind of been very stoical, is what it is, dealt with them, and we're really just kind of pushing through. So that's what tomorrow's going to be on. So yeah, good to hear you're keeping well, Andy. So yeah, if anyone else has any questions, I think I'll do a post tomorrow, a bit more reflective after I have the meeting. About the past year, it's been, first year where I've been on my own, self-employed, and relying on business, relying on the team, and relying on Amazon. Yeah. So if anyone has anything they kind of want to bring up and ask about that, how long it took, advice, things like that, that's what this session this evening is about. So yeah, very kind of busy day today. It's like the end of the month. We're also running a challenge at the moment that is live at the moment in private Facebook group. So we had first evening of our challenge last night. It was around, well, we're calling it a mindset reset. It's to give it a term. We talked a lot about basically why you think the way that you think, covered how limiting beliefs are formed, and did a little bit of work around that. There was an assignment sent out off the back of the live, and we're working through that at the moment. Really good event. We did that last time in the challenge, and it went down very well. So what we did for this challenge, the first challenge, basically day 3, was mindset reset and mindset work and exercises around that, which everyone took a lot from, and then goal setting, which everyone took a lot from as well. So what we've done is we've moved that from the first day is all around mindset and how you think the way that you think and how to change certain aspects of that. So we've moved that to day 1. And then day 3 is all about goal setting and projections. So day 3 is obviously tomorrow, and it lines up very well with planning for Q4. So we'll be sitting down tomorrow in our team meeting saying, okay, we need to be at this level for Q4. We need to have X, Y, and Z in place. And this is the level that we need to be at. And this is how, because what you'll find when you start building the team out, I found, is that when you start to make changes, well, put it this way, if you hire, say, a VA, if you want to call them a VA, you hire a new member of your team, it generally takes, well, I kind of say it takes sort of 2 to 3 months for you to break even on them, really. So the way to think about that is, so obviously the lead time when you're buying and selling on Amazon is around about 4 weeks. So if we buy something today from Argos, send it to a prep center, I prep it, whatever. If we have a delivery comes from, well, if we buy goods in Argos today, it'll take 2 or 3 days for those items to be prepped and delivered, prepped, and then shipped onto Amazon. It'll take around 2 weeks for that process where you're purchasing something today for it being live on Amazon. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer, but generally it's about 2 weeks. So you've got that lead time at the start. And then when you make a sale, it takes 2 weeks for you to get your money back on that item. So automatically you've got like a 4-week lead time, so, which is about a month. So if you have a new VA starting, a new member of the team, they start sourcing deals, you're not really going to start seeing, well, you'll start seeing the benefit of their deals after sort of week 4 or 5. So the deals that they source in week 1, you'll start seeing the benefit of those within 4 to 5 weeks. Now, if they're brand new, that might be longer because they'll struggle to find deals and things like that. So what I thought about, and kind of the structure that I wanted to have in place in time for Q4, was I wanted a team of 6. I wanted 2 people on admin, and I wanted 4 people in business development. So replenishments, finding new deals, purchasing. So that's what I have now. So I've got a team of 6, 2 people in admin, 4 in business development. So yeah, to have that team of 6 ready for Q4 a new member, say a new sourcing agent or a new member of the team to do that, that will take kind of 3 months for you to perhaps break even and for them to get up to speed properly. I mean, I would argue with anyone that there's very few jobs that you can do that you're an expert in day one. So especially when it's just, when the work that they do and sourcing is very difficult, it will take 3, maybe 4 months for someone to get up to speed. Even if they've been recruited well and they've been well trained, there really isn't any kind of substitute for experience. So what I wanted to have in place for the end of September, October, it's a team of 6, all more or less up to speed in terms of sourcing, all familiar with each other and all kind of familiar with the way that the business runs and the way Amazon runs. Because when Q4 starts, it's just volume, craziness. Everything's going on at once. So to bring someone in at that stage, it'll work. But to bring someone, to have someone experienced, maybe 3 or 4 months of experience by September, this is now when you'd need to start implementing those changes or implementing those improvements to your team. So that's why I've recruited quite heavily over the last 6 weeks, actually. So that's what we've got in place. So we're setting down basically new targets for the next quarter and where we need to be for the end of September, start of October, start of Q4. So that's the plan around that. And yeah, it's going quite well. Everyone seems to be getting on well with each other. Admin VA from Qatar. She's Filipino, but she's based in Qatar, which is great and quite interesting because I didn't realize in the Middle East their weekend is Friday and Saturday, so she starts on Sunday. So it's worked out really well because that person, she starts on Sunday, and my purchasing VA, who's based in Japan, she has another job where she works Friday and Saturday and starts for me on Sunday. So she's working with her on the Sunday, and the fact that she's in Qatar, there's only a couple of hours difference between here and, well, the UK and Qatar. So she's more or less working the same hours as me, which is great because if there's something that crops up, I don't have to really wait till tomorrow to action it or to send it across while people are asleep. It can be actioned quite quickly. So yeah, it's going really, really well. Just kind of reminded me of history class and the British Empire and Victorian era. The sun never sets, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's the business at the moment. I've got Japan, the Philippines, Qatar, and the UK covered. I just need to cover the Americas. So that's what's next. Maybe. Let's see. So let's see here. Are there any other questions? No, not just yet. Okay. It was quite interesting because I was speaking to Russell Thomas earlier in regards to an accountancy thing. So it was really, really interesting to him to speak to him. We're going to have Russell on for an interview in the next, well, we're pretty much booked up for these lives through July. So we've got one space left in July. So if anyone's watching and they would like to maybe talk about their story, or there's maybe someone in the community that would be interested in doing a live with me, with Eamon, with Luke, whoever, yeah, drop a message or send me a PM. So yeah, Russell is keen to do a live and just talk about how he's getting on. Great guy to talk to, good fun. But really, he runs a very, very tight ship. Very, very tight ship. He sent me a screenshot of his sales, but more importantly, his inventory management. It is on point. He's currently 400 units in stock. Hopefully he doesn't mind me saying, he's 400 units in stock, and pretty much as soon as they go in, sold. And he posted. I'm pretty sure he posted his figures in the group. If he hasn't, I won't mention what they are because I'll let him talk about that. But he is he's working with. He hasn't even been. I don't think he's been selling for the full year just yet, and he's working with a limit of 1,400 units. So 1,400 units. That's all he's working with, and he runs a very, very lean business, and he talks about his. He was talking to me about his what he looks for when he's sourcing products. So he sources products at a much higher AVO, so average value order, and much higher profit amount. So yeah, he won't go to a certain level, and he is doing really, really well. Kind of has plans to just work Monday through Thursday and then have Friday off, like a long weekend every week. So that's kind of his goal with that. So yeah, very, very interesting talking to him about how he did that. And yeah, I think we'll have him come on and do a live in a few weeks' time. And he's doing really, really well. He's now he was a plumber by trade, to use that term, and he's now full time reselling on Amazon, doing really, really well, and in less than a year. So absolutely, tradesmen, myself, business development, anyone can do this. I would say it's a little bit like running a marathon. Anyone can do this. Some people do need some help though, but yeah, he really benefited from the program that we provide. He's on some of the testimonials, and yeah, he showed me his numbers earlier. Absolutely killing it, loves it, and it's having a great time. So absolutely, if he can do it. So let's have a look. Yeah, we have. We have a question from head of department. Sorry if this was asked yet, but have you started plans for Q4? Do you think storage limits will be sorted by then? So yeah, very interesting. In terms of plans for Q4, I had a kind of picture in my mind what I wanted to have ready for Q4, Claire, and I've more or less got that now. So it was a team of 6, two in managing kind of the admin side of the business, reconciliation, VAT receipts, all that type of stuff, and then 4 in business development. So working on replenishment, sourcing new deals, and yeah, purchasing. So that's what I wanted to have in place, and that's how the business looks at the moment. So yeah, today was quite fun doing a little bit like Luke. I've got quite a bit automated, but I still like to pay people myself. Don't like to have that automated. So going through timesheets and things today was great. So we've now got 6 people. Really, really interesting. It's great I actually really enjoy paying people. It's nice that you can provide something for. I talked about. I'm not going to mention this in public, but I talked about this a little bit in the challenge yesterday. I was really kind of humbled by one of the team who's just joined, and yeah, really just makes it all worthwhile. So yeah, it was good to do that today. Was a little bit of an issue sending money to Qatar, believe it or not. So having to navigate that is fun, but this is what it's all about, problem solving. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to have in place for Q4. I'd set a target at the start of the year in terms of revenue and profit for the business. So set us a target of £500,000 for the year. So it would work out Q1 100 grand, Q2 100 grand, Q3 another 100, and then double that in Q4. So 1 is 3 plus the 2 to Q4. So that'll be 500. So we're actually, we missed Q1, but we've just smashed Q2. So we've actually caught up for half a year. So we're on flow for half a year, and we've basically done that with myself, and a team of 3. So the last 3 people that we've brought in have only come in the last, well, Regine came in 3 months ago, and then I've hired 2 more in the last month. So the team is now where I want it to be, and yeah, we've done the target with kind of 3/4 people just because of tenure. So we're going to talk about targets tomorrow. If any of them are watching, targets are only going to go one way. They're going that way. So be prepared for that. But we've got the team in place, and it's great to have them in place. And yeah, they all seem to enjoy it. They all laugh at my terrible jokes in meetings. So yeah, I suppose you have to. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to have in place for Q4. Targets will probably change at the end of Q3, depending on how things go and that type of thing. In terms of restock limits, it's $1 million question, isn't it? Can't really give you that much of an answer for it, but just to put in perspective, we're changing our strategy and speaking to Russell. It kind of, I mean, we've it's 7,500 limit at the moment. 7,500 limit. So our limit went from, I think it was 21. It was 21,000 units we had a limit for. So it went to 21, 17, and then down to 12. It stayed at 12 for a while. Then it went to 9, 8, and now it seems to have stopped at 7.5. And then there was that email come out after Prime Day. And I think that, famous last words, I think we'll be playing with 7,500 units for the rest of the year, unless things change. So I was talking to one of the team about this, and with 7,500 units available, we can do some serious damage with that. The most we've ever had in inventory was, I think it was 9. I think it was about 9,000 when there was no real limits. So we're currently about 6,500 units, and that includes pending shipments. So shipments that are at prep centers and things, that includes that. So we're currently working at 6.5 over 7.5 is what? 70. It's not even 75, it's about 85% capacity. So what I was saying was, I think we can do some pretty serious damage with even just 7,500 units. So it's kind of the new normal. It's kind of what we're having to deal with. We're going to be changing a little bit of a sourcing strategy, going a lot shallower, rather than a lot shallower more often, if that makes sense. So ordering more often, but less of. And I think going forward, it's very challenging to do this on your own now, or maybe with a team of just you and another VA. I think really to kind of enjoy it, and I think you'd need to be comfortable with maybe bringing 1 or 2 people into the team, especially with, I mean, if you find a great item and you can replenish that, because of the limits with the storage, it makes much more sense to put orders in more often but less of. But that takes time, it takes reconciliation, it takes all that type of stuff. That's not particularly fun. So if you're in the position where you've got massive opportunity, i.e. Amazon, you're based in the UK and you have capital, there's a massive opportunity to basically share that with someone else who doesn't have access to what we do, um, and make an impact. Now, it's not for everyone. This is what we talked about a little bit last night. I'm not going to go into details, but yeah, if you've got the ability to make an impact, and why not? You know, there was it was quite a humbling thing one of the team said to me, and I completely agreed with her. And what I said, it's a little bit like, how to put it? Well, the term that I use is that talent is equally spread across the world, but opportunity isn't. So if you look at, you know, what we've got access to in the UK, but to source and run a business on Amazon, really, someone across the other side of the world can do that, help you with it, but they just don't have the opportunity. So that's a big part of the vision and values that I've implemented with our business, and that's what we focus on. And it's about creating opportunity for other people as well, and having fun while we do it. That's another part. So we're going to be talking a lot more about that tomorrow. So to answer your question, Claire, really my Q4 kind of what I feel I need to have in place is more or less there by now. There's a couple of niggly things that I need to decide on. There is the opportunity. There's an opportunity perhaps to do something more in Northern Ireland with prep here. My background though is my previous job was employment law, and hiring staff, managing employees is difficult, especially So I'm managing a team of 6 at the moment, a remote team, which I'm happy with. There's a lot of work involved in that. And to bring someone on in the UK, don't know. But there's always the option. So in terms of restock, not sure, but I think that what's happened recently with restock is it just kind of puts into perspective how well you use your inventory. Because I mean, speaking to Russell this morning, and he's absolutely nailing it with 400 or 500 units, literally 400 or 500 units, not even in stock, but going back and forth in prep. Like, yeah, so we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, or that's my thoughts on it, really. So, Andy Henry, Amazon are offering me a £12,500 loan. Should this be a no-brainer to take? For some reason, I'm hesitant to take it. Okay, it's interesting. Tom, well, could have put it. It's up to you. If you've got the appetite and you have capacity to spend that money, turn it around a couple of times before you need to pay it all back, then why wouldn't you? You know, if you can turn that around at 25, 30% ROI, I'm not sure if you're VAT registered, so you can turn that around at 25% ROI, it's not your money. You know, you can turn that around pretty quickly. If you can turn that around before you need to pay it back, then it's really a case of if you have the capacity and you have the appetite to do it. I would say that Amazon loans, I think we've just paid off the last one of our Amazon loans. I think it was 9, the last one. So we take them all the time. They're very, very cheap forms of finance. I would say put everything through a credit card to give you that extra step. So say, for example, you get that loan, 12.5K in your bank account. potentially what you can do. I don't know what are the terms in that, Andy? Is it a year? Or is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? I mean, if it was 3 months, it would be tight. But what you could do, if it was 3 months, 12.5K, put that through a credit card to give you that extra step, 56 days. So you spent 12.5 grand today on a credit card, you've got that 56 days to pay it back. You've already got the money to pay it back. So in that time, that 56 days, so potentially you could get your goods in, a lot of them turned around, paid off your credit card, and paid off on the loan, and you're up. So it depends. Well, over 12 months, if that's yourself, Andy. Yeah, really, what you need to work out is how quickly you turn stock, or how quickly you would turn that stock, and then work out how often you'd be able to do that in the term of the loan. So over a year, if your cash flow cycle was, if you kept it really tight, kept on 2 months, you could turn that 6 times. So if you turned 12.5 grand 6 times at a 30% ROI, let's call it, well, that would be 4,125, would it? Profit off. So profit on 12.5 at 30% would be 4,125. You do that 6 times in a year. 6 times 4,125 is that 24 grand off that loan. So yeah, that's the theory of it. Obviously, there's work to be done, and you need the capacity to do that work. You need systems in place, things like that. But really, I would say that's a bit of a no-brainer if you've got the appetite and the capacity for it. So I would say so. Let's see, anyone else? Moji Chop, fantastic name. Moji Chop. Hello, Moji Chop. How are you keeping? How is your day been so far? Cool. Hope that helps, Andy. Yeah, not yes. Wasn't sure whether to wait for Q4, but not sure there's logic in that. Well, I mean, with Q4, I mean Q4 is great. I mean it's a little bit like putting easy mode or a cheat mode on a computer game. It's great, but there's still money to be made in the next 3-4 months, and you know you could turn that a couple of times in the next 3-4 months and have an even bigger pot for Q4. So wasn't sure whether to wait for Q4, but not sure whether there's logic in that. No, go out and get some now. There's sales at the moment that are going to other people because you're not on those listings. That's what I would put to you. That's kind of what I think about. You know, if you think, well, if you think about if you have a really good day and then you also think that everyone, you know, all the other sales that you've missed because you've just not been there, there's that way to look at it too. So yeah, you can beat yourself up a little bit too much, and I sometimes do with that. But if you look at it that way, then yeah. Yes, I don't have enough money to spend right now, so it's tempting to get it now. It's up to you. I would go for it. And obviously I'm not qualified to give financial advice, but put absolutely all of your spend, whether it's Andy, whether it's anyone else, put all of your spend through a credit card. It's safer because if you get credit card fraud or bank card fraud, if you put your spend through a credit card, you will get it back. No problem. I had between let's say it was between, I think it was about £5,000 worth of credit card fraud just before Q4 2019, and I got it back within 2.5 weeks. And I was told that was slow. So when you're obviously putting stuff in a credit card, it goes up somewhere, sits there, and then if there's any issues, they can send it back to you. But if it comes out of your bank account straight away, it's hard to get that back. So put everything through a credit card. It's safer. Obviously, if you want to really be sensible with it, only put onto a credit card what you can actually pay off in your bank. So if you've got 12.5 grand in your bank, you can put 12.5 grand on a credit card. You've got 56 days to pay it off. You're always going to pay it off because you've got the money in the account. You'll get cash back on that spend as well. And you've got that extra step in the you've actually got that extra step in the cash flow chain as well, so it extends it. Is it easy to get a credit card with 12.5 grand thousand limit for an Amazon business? I don't have any credit in the business just yet. Well, I would advise to start that process. Even if you got a 3 grand credit card, paid it off 4 times, it would do it that way. So again, this would be taking you into areas where you haven't been before. It's uncomfortable, get that. Once you do it a few times, it's not that bad. And it's there's a few people talk about gamifying things. So kind of computer games, all that type of stuff. You take kind of risks all day long on a computer game. Obviously, this isn't a computer game. There are consequences and things like that. But really, the worst thing that can happen with that is your account gets suspended. You've still got money to pay your credit card off. You still have the stock, and just get your account fixed. Credit card, my account suspension last year as well. So I'm doing my best to try and get this company on for an interview. So what was it? It was April, May last year, height of COVID, Amazon absolutely taken off, absolutely sales are flying. I had just bought a whole load of stock and I got suspended for price gouging. And what it was, I had sourced a 6-pack of Lynx shower gel from a wholesaler. Cost me, it's not a particularly good wholesaler, especially at that time, so prices were inflated anyway. So I think it cost me, it was 6 plus VAT, so 720. 720 for a 6-pack of shower gel. Amazon were selling it at 12. I went on the listing at 14. There really wasn't that much profit in it for me at 14, but it was selling like that. But because it had jumped whenever Amazon went off the listing at 12, it seemed to jump really high up to 14. So got dinged for price gouging, suspended, plan of actions filled out, all that type of stuff. Nothing for 2 weeks, and then I got in touch with the company, through them, spent £500 for them to fix it, and it was fixed within 24 hours. So yeah, that was my experience with that. I'm not careless with my account whatsoever. I'm quite risk averse, but I know that there's not really an issue that I can't deal with. There's not really something that Amazon can do to an extent that I haven't been through already. And yeah, I'm not particularly, that's kind of my thoughts with things. So thanks. I'm just reading your, I assume that's on. Oh no, it's someone else. Stephen Taggart. Hi Stephen, how's it going? Yeah, we need to have that call where you get that fixed. So I'm on my 3rd load, Andy. I would just take that, just keep turning the stock over. You can take slightly less if you feel more comfortable. Absolutely. You don't need to take it all. I think there's a sliding scale that you can play about with. So yeah, you can do it that way as well. Obviously, if you apply for a credit card, get a 3K credit card, take 3 grand loan if you wanted to do it that way. So yeah, do it like that. Okay, let's see if there's any other See if there's any other questions or anything else. So yeah, good, thanks. Not sure who that is. Just taking a while to load up. So yeah, that's us so far. So yeah, it's all going well, kind of secured finance. Well, the other thing as well, Andy, if you were concerned with that, the other option for you, we had Daniel on from Pioneer a few weeks ago. It's slightly, well, it's a different concept where rather than a loan from Amazon, it's a capital advance. So basically, you're guaranteed to be accepted if you've been selling on Amazon for a certain amount of time and at a certain level. I think it's, quote me if I'm wrong, but I think it's at least 6 months at 2K a month turnover. And what they'll do is they'll log into your API for your account, check all the metrics, and they'll offer a capital advance. So capital advance will be, I think it's 100% of your monthly turnover. So if you're doing 5K a month, they would give you 5K. And the way it works is they give you that lump sum payment up front, and then you pay them out of your disbursements automatically. So the first time you do it, you pay half of your disbursements towards that capital advance. So if you took £5,000 capital advance off them and you dispersed £1,000 out of your sales going forward, capital Pioneer would take £500, so half of that disbursement, and pay off the loan. It's all hands off, all done automatically. And yeah, it just means you can access the funds in your business much more quickly. And yeah, it's based on your turnover anyway. So yeah, that's the other option. If you were uncomfortable with an actual loan, that's the other option. So see if there's any more questions. I've never had a loan, and we definitely do more than 2K a month. Yeah, Pioneer, if you wanted to access capital, Pioneer would do that for you. So you guys are doing sort of 2 or 3K a day, aren't you, Claire? You and Jonathan. So Claire, by the way, guys, is the queen, is the Manx queen. She's the queen of the Isle of Man. So we have Queen in Buckingham Palace. She's the queen over there. So everyone mind their P's and Q's, and no swearing, please. This is a family show. Head of department on patrol. So if you wanted to get a touch of Pioneer, they would sort you out with a capital advance. So it's based on your monthly turnover. They give you that lump sum, and you pay it back out of your disbursements. There is a charge for it as well, but it's very competitive. That's the first time you do it. The second time you go through a capital advance, it's a third out of your disbursements, or a quarter. I'm not sure. I'll say a third just to be safe. So that's the way that works. So yes, that is, loan offer. Oh, you've never had a loan offer? Oh, right. I wonder, is that because you're a foreigner, Claire? Would that be why that is? Because you're a foreigner. Excuse me. No. You've been spending too much time with the cafe using no. So speaking of which, I'll just check in on that he's doing okay. Yeah, he seems to be doing all right. Okay. If there's anything else, Irish and proud fella. Me too. Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, we're talking about having a meetup soon. Very difficult though when not to get too political, but it's very difficult when we don't really know what we're allowed to do or when we're allowed to do it. So we've talked about Leeds. We will have meetup in Leeds, and I think we're going to organise a meetup in Northern Ireland as well. So I think Claire is coming back to the homeland soon, so hopefully see you there, Claire. Mark, how's it going, buddy? What do you think about the American Express Business Gold Card? I think it's fantastic. We have a gold card and we have a platinum card as well. So American Express, well, Gavin Sweeney gave me a bit of an insight into American Express. You can actually use American Express for sourcing as well. So American Express is, well, with everything, nothing's perfect, but it's fantastic to get an American Express card. The cashback that you get on it is unbelievable. If you have a remote team, they can basically, one of the challenges when you've got someone else doing purchasing for you, there's a lot of challenges around authorization codes. So obviously your credit card will text you to say, is this you? So that text can't really go to someone in the Philippines or somewhere else. What American Express do is they will send you an email. So you can set up an email forwarding, or you can set up, well, you can give someone else access to your email. So you don't need to copy, there's no work that you need to do around authorization codes. So I would say that they're charging £175 a year. You'll earn more than that in terms of cashback easily. You'll earn more than that using in the cashback within about 3 or 4 months. And the way American Express generally works is if you pay it off, they'll give you a slight increase. Pay it off, give you a slight increase. All credit cards generally do that, but American Express seem to be quite aggressive when they do that. So yeah, I'm definitely saying it's worth it. Again, check the T's and C's, all that type of stuff. But yeah, as long as you put on the credit card what you can pay off. So if you're putting £1,000 in a credit card at 30% ROI, you'll get your 1,300 back, all that type of stuff. So I'm saying the £175 a year is definitely worth it for the cashback and the convenience as well. Their customer service is easily the best. I know you're based in Romania. It would probably help you out with that side of things as well. The only drawback with American Express is that it's not accepted everywhere. So the reason being, because American Express give you so many perks, their charges to the actual retailer are a lot higher. So I'm trying to think who doesn't. Well, MasterCard and Visa are pretty much accepted everywhere. I would say American Express is probably accepted maybe 2/3 of stores. So what you really need, and the way that a lot of people do it, you'd have an American Express card and a Capital Tap card generally. Capital Tap is Visa, and they work like partners. So put everything you possibly can on the American Express because your cashback's a lot better, and to build up your credit. Where you can't spend your American Express card, you spend your Capital Tap card or Visa card or whatever it is. That's the way it works. How about Amazon Business Prime American Express card? I actually don't have one. I keep meaning to sort one out. I know a certain Gavin Sweeney uses that a lot because he does a lot of Amazon flips. it can be bypassed with PayPal, is it not? What can be bypassed with PayPal, Mark? I think Amex. You can't really use Amex on PayPal, but you can with Visa. So yeah, you can do it that way as well, if that's what you were asking. In terms of the Amazon Business Prime American Express card, keep meaning to get one, but never get around to it. So I'm going to add that off the list of things to talk about tomorrow, Andy. Amex. What's it called? Yeah, so obviously Gavin Sweeney does a lot of, well, he's been on and he's talked about it, so he does a lot of Amazon to Amazon flips. So he uses that. He uses that card for that, earns extra points, I think. Or do you, I don't know, Andy, you tell me, do you earn, you probably earn like Amazon vouchers? That card, that's probably the, look it up now actually. Okay, so Amazon Business earn 1.5, and Amazon Business Prime Amex card members earn 2% cash back on the first £120,000 worth of purchases each calendar. So yeah, wow, okay, so there's no, wow, well there you go, guys, get sorted out with that. So no annual fee in the first year, 1.5% back or 60-day terms. All right, so that's just on Amazon. Okay. Yeah, so if you're buying things on Amazon general, it makes sense just to use that. You'd get 1.5% back on all purchases up to 120 grand. Or if you have the Business Prime members, you'd get 2% back. There you go. Every day's a school day. So, yeah, hit go on that 12.5K, Andy, and mine's an alcohol-free beer. Cool. So if there is, there you go. So I'm not sure who that is. Let's just see. Thanks for your answers, much appreciated. There you go. So cool. Fill your boots, guys. Yeah, where is PayPal? And there's no Amex card pay option. I use Amex through PayPal. Mark, Andy, we're going to have to get you on for a call, for a live one of these weeks. And yeah, I can sit back and you guys can do all the talking. No, thanks, guys, for joining in. And thank you, Head of Department. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Andy. Hello again to, oh, I've just seen Christopher Spence. Any further developments on the returns for NI? Okay, so just to fill you guys in, just to fill everyone in on who was moaning about restock limits and having to recall inventory and all that type of stuff, the silent strength and the community in Northern Ireland that has a few challenges when it comes to quite a few things. We also get to deal with the challenge of not being able to recall any of our inventory in FBA to Northern Ireland. The reason being because of Brexit. So Amazon will not allow us to recall any inventory that we have in FBA to Northern Ireland because of Brexit. Having said that, if there's any unfulfillable inventory that's automatically removed, it seems to come back. So we can't manually request stuff, but we can automatically request stuff. So we're dealing with that. Basically, the solution that we've come up with is quite simple. The prep center that I'm using in Ipswich, they are handling my returns, putting them on the pallet, and then sending them to my warehouse here to be drip fed back into Amazon when the time is right. So that's what we're dealing with. So apologies, Chris, I missed you there on that. So I've put a few posts up in a few business groups in Northern Ireland, and I've actually found quite a few other sellers in Northern Ireland I wasn't just aware of. Generally, everyone knows each other in Northern Ireland, but there you go. So I'm trying to get in touch with someone who works for Amazon based in Northern Ireland that is concerned with their operations and things like that. So I do have my partner Sarah, she is a friend of a friend whose sister works in Amazon, and I'm trying to reach out to her at the moment, but just this week has been totes cray busy, so no real progress just yet. But I do think there is scope. Well, the thing is, there might be changes tomorrow with 1st of July and IOSS. So we'll see if there's any emails or anything like that that come out. But really, there hasn't been any progress, Chris, since I've mentioned that. Just this week has kind of gotten away from me a little bit. I'm going to end this live now and jump on the challenge live that's going on in a private group. So yeah, no real progress there, but I do really feel that, the amount that we pay in FBA fees, obviously we're not getting the service that everyone else is when we should. I mean, it's a little bit like saying we won't recall your items to Scotland because it's a different country. So yeah, kind of dealing with that myself on a little bit of a side project. So watch this space. We'll see if we can get a bit of a profile raised and do things calmly and properly and approach them. So yes, if there is nothing else, then thank you for tuning in. Thanks for all the questions that were answered and things. Thanks again, Andrew, Mark, and head of department. Just see if I missed anything else. So Chris, no real progress just because this week has kind of got away from me. And yeah, if there is anyone else, as I said at the start, that would be interested in coming on and doing a live, we're going to perhaps have some regular slots and kind of a regular structure, maybe a seller profile, maybe one seller profile each month, something like that. Or if you guys like this, we can do a little bit more of this where it's just like question and answers and you'll get my viewpoint on things. So there we are. Yes, no worries, Stephen. And I do need to get in touch with you about that other thing, which I will action this evening. So, okay, if there's nothing else, we will see you next week. Next week, we have a chap called Liam O'Neill on the live next Wednesday at 7. Liam is nothing to do with Amazon. He's all about becoming a superhuman and how you harness your potential, how you become more that you are, and how you tap into things like that. Very concerned and very into nutrition and well-being. So very lucky to have him on next week. Really looking forward to that. I think Eamon will be interviewing him. So that's still to be confirmed who's interviewing, whether it's myself or Eamon. So we'll throw up a post, create an event for that in the next for the next live next week. Yeah, really looking forward to that. We also have Al Carlton soon to be confirmed. Well, it is confirmed. We'll have Al on before the end of the month, before the end of July as well, to do a session, to do Q&A and to talk about all things. Al currently is a guest speaker in our challenge that's running at the moment. So Eamon and Al are doing a session on sourcing secrets. If anyone thinks, sugar, I really should have got involved in that challenge, I'm such a fool, I'll have to wait till the next one. You could wait till the next one, or you can join us tomorrow. All these sessions are recorded and all the literature is provided to everyone. So we recorded last night, tonight's recorded. So if you wanted to join the session, join the challenge sort of halfway through or even after it finishes. I know Andy joined our challenge last time after it finished, smashed through all the videos, and yeah, seemed to be really impressed with it, really enjoyed it. So I'll drop a link for that if anyone's interested. Tomorrow, so yesterday we did a lot around mindset and limiting beliefs and that type of thing. This evening it's sourcing secrets, sourcing tips, sourcing tricks. And then tomorrow is goal setting. So tomorrow is basically going to be a day of just goal setting for me. So tomorrow morning we have a team meeting and we're going to be setting goals for my business in Q3, Q4. And then everyone that's on the challenge, we're going to be working through goal setting and revenue projections, that type of exercises. We have a calculator, very advanced, that we will be providing to everyone as well. So it's not just, here's an idea, go and run with it. You'll have access to that yourself. So if that sounds of interest, 47 quid. It's 3 days worth of live training. That's recorded. What was I going to say? Yeah, before we launched this again, I kind of said let's basically keep these sessions to 90 minutes. Try and keep them to 90 minutes, because after kind of an hour and a half, people's just wane and all the rest of it. Session last night, I think it was 2 hours 20 minutes. So yeah, there was Q&A at the end, which was good as well. So I'm not sure how long this evening is going to go on for, but the last challenge, there was 7 hours worth of recorded content. So yeah, you get a lot of value for your money. If you are interested in that, it's basically for people that just need a bit of a kickstart or a bit of a focus or that type of thing. I'll drop a link below, and if people want to get involved, then great. We had Daniela sign up just before, just this evening, just before it went live. So she's getting involved, and yeah, all good. So I'll drop that below. If there is anything else, drop a link or drop a comment even, and we'll get back to you. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.